You only have to have one glance at this car to realise it's not your average Porsche, but peel away the stickers and it looks like any Cayenne SUV, except that you may have noticed the bright green brake calipers and the acid green e-hybrid badges. Yep, it's a Cayenne, but it's a hybrid. Now the hybrid Cayenne's nothing new, it's been around since 2010, except here's something it's never had before, a power cord. That's because you can recharge this one from a regular household power point. It's called the Cayenne SE Hybrid. It has a regular engine up front as well as a 70 kilowatt electric motor and a bank of batteries in the rear. Now Porsche claims the hybrid can travel between 18 and 36 kilometres on electricity alone. I've been living with this thing for a few days now and I can guarantee it's a lot closer to the 18 than it is the 36. Still, for a lot of people that will do the trick. You can do the shopping, get the kids to school, whatever it may be, and even better if you can charge it off solar. It's less useful if you want to go further. That's when you've got to rely almost entirely on the petrol engine. A 3-litre supercharged V6 not only drives the car, but can be used to recharge the batteries, just in case you want to run on electric power later. So you can go from using no fuel or very little to using lots. So yes, it's tricky what's going on under the skin, but it's not always that frugal. But really, a lot of that depends on how you're planning to use it. If you're going to mainly do short trips and confine yourself to the city centres where often you'll find charging stations, sometimes free ones in shopping centres and so on, then it can make a lot of sense and you can get around pretty cheaply, albeit with modest power. But if you want to get out and about, go and do the big trip, do some towing, those sorts of things, it's a lot less useful. But enough of the details. Porsches are quick, or at least they're supposed to be. So how does the SE Hybrid measure up? Add up all that tech and you've got 306 kilowatts to play with, so that's not bad. It'll get you to 100 kilometres an hour in 5.9 seconds. Again, not too shabby. Less impressive is the way it goes about its business. In the e-power mode, which is sort of the mode you probably want to use most if you want to take advantage of that electric motor, it can just feel a little bit doughy. The throttle hasn't got a whole lot going on there. And it's got a squeeze point halfway down that sort of almost encourages you to stop pressing the accelerator anymore. That's because it just wants you to use the electric motor, so 70 kilowatts rather than the full 306. So less than ideal. You can still get away with it. You can floor it, override the whole thing, and all of a sudden the engine kicks in to give you all that grunt back. But it's just not as seamless, not as effortless as we've seen in Porsches before. Now you can sharpen it all up a fair bit, override that e-power mode, just go into sport, and it certainly got a lot more response, a lot more pokiness to the way it gets around, but at the same time it runs the engine almost all the time, so it sort of defeats the whole fuel saving purpose. And no matter what mode you're in, you can feel that weight. The Cayenne Hybrid is 265 kilograms heavier than the regular V6, almost 2.4 tonnes all up. That's a lot for a 5-seat SUV. Now quick direction changes or pitch into a corner a bit quicker and it does show it up a bit. Although the brakes, they are meaty and super powerful. And all those kilos certainly work the suspension a little bit harder. In its softest mode, comfort, it's definitely very comfortable. It's certainly a lot more compliant than you would normally expect of a high-performance car like this, but it does sort of fumble around a little bit. It hasn't got that awesome control that we've expected from Porsches in the past. Often you're better off just selecting sport. Sure, it is a bit firmer over bumps, but the extra control it brings is absolutely worth the compromise. And ultimately, that's what the Cayenne Hybrid's all about, compromises. If you are just going to drive it around town and mainly shorter trips, you can charge it off solar, then it could make some sense, albeit without the athleticism and ultimate performance we've expected from Porsches. But if you do want to get out of town more and you do want more of that grunt and more of that Porsche feeling, there are other Cayennes that'll do a better job, and in some cases they'll use less fuel.